Yo, what it do, 2K fans? This your boy JuKIng the Boss, and with the growing number of stretch fours I've been seeing at the park, don't get me wrong, it's actually pretty fun to check them sometimes because I like being able to show them that you're not just going to shoot anything or make anything all over me. Then there are those who do really put the points up, and those are true people who can play that position, play that stretch four really well. But it made me realize that now's the time to talk about the 2K archetype system, how flawed it is, and actually have some improvements that can be made to better the product in that category. So first, let's look at the archetype system itself. Now, it's not new in 2K19 or 18 for that matter. I believe in 2K14 or 15 it was there, but it wasn't as limited as it is now. So now the 2K archetype system allows you to pick two different play styles that you want to use, and it tells you exactly what your caps are for those play styles and how far you can develop into those play styles. Now with things like the takeover, it adds to that level. It boosts up those abilities to take them beyond what their normal capabilities are. You add boost on top of that, even better. But what is it that truly hurts that archetype system is its lack of development. It's true lack of development. It's lack of ability to adjust and change up your game. Now, I know this is a video game, and so let's look at it in the video game format. Now, though this video game is based on a real sport, we still got to step back and realize that 2K is trying so hard to be a role-playing game that they forgot that some role-playing games had the clues all along, had all the tips, had all the tricks as to how to allow for unlimited possibilities and open creativity. So let's look at what happened when they introduced the dual archetype system first. So in 2K17, pure shot creators, they shine because they were playmakers, slashers, ball handlers, and they were great contested shooters. Now, I know you say that the archetype system didn't come, the dual archetype system didn't come in 2K17, but that's where it was birthed. That's where the concept behind it became, because in 2K18, all of these archetypes that you were able to use in 2K17, you now had the ability to combo them up and put two together and create your ultimate version of a build. Now, when they did that, they didn't rethink how the archetype system would go into play, because in 2K18, if you were a pure shot creator, you could essentially slash to the basket, get contact dunks, you could get ankle breakers. You were all the best builds all rolled in one. And in 2K19, if you created that pure shot creator, but you made them small forward, you were even better than you were in 2K18, because now you had the ability to shoot from almost anywhere. You had limitless range as a badge, and then you could also stack that with the takeover badge. Now, what do you think is the current greatest build in 2K19? Now, I know some of you might think that it's the stretch four, but real talk, the greatest build you could actually create in 2K19 now is the shot creating stretch four. So why is the shot creating stretch four better than the pure stretch four? Well, because the shot creating stretch four has all of the badges that the stretch four has all of the shooting ability that the stretch four has, but it does have a little bit better ball handling ability. And why does that come into handy? Because essentially, as a shot creator, you can then create your own shots. You can shoot better off the dribble. You can shoot from limitless with gold. Now, pure stretchers get gold. Let me get Hall of Fame limitless range. They get Hall of Fame deep range deadeye. They get a lot of Hall of Fame style badges. But if you create a shot creator in stretch four, that means that primary stretch, secondary shot creator, and you get all those badges at gold plus you get post badges. You get post badges, so you essentially become an inside out threat. So you can score anywhere on the court, and then imagine if that build becomes 99. Imagine if that build gets to 94, where both of their technically grand badges would activate. So both their primary and secondary archetype become even more deadly, and all of those stats go beyond their normal capabilities. So when you activate takeover, you get that plus 10. Now imagine if a shot creating stretch gets that plus 10, and then add the boost. Oh my goodness. At a 99 overall, all those gold badges going up to Hall of Fame, you essentially have the KD build. he can break some ankles, and he can finish at the rack, and at the same time he can finish from beyond the arc. And he's tall enough to shoot over anybody and everybody. That is the most dangerous build in the game. And the funniest thing is, it's not that hard of a build to work with, because like I said, you have some ball handling from the shot creator, you have the ability to shoot from limitless from the 3-point specialist, you have all of the greatest things about scoring, and you can kind of keep a pure stretch at bay because you're tall enough to check him, you're tall enough to contest him, and you get a couple of extra points toward your blocking ability and your contest ability. So that makes you a little more dangerous on the court. But what is it that can be done to revamp the way the dual archetype system works? Well, let's get rid of dual archetypes. Instead, let's go with dynamic archetypes. And how you do that? Well, it's simple. The best game to give you an example of is Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls Skyrim, I felt, did RPG so clean, so well. You could essentially build your character whichever way you want. So the more you did something, the more you upgraded that ability. Now, in Elder Scrolls instance, it was if you created more weapons and more armor at the blacksmithing table, then you would increase your blacksmithing skills. By increasing your blacksmithing skills, you can then add your stat points, your ability points, your experience points. You can add your upgrade points to those blacksmithing abilities that allowed you to create better armor, that allowed you to create more flawless armor. So let's say if 2K went in that same direction. So first of all, at the beginning, when you create your player, allow you to create a player that starts off with 2 different play styles. That just gives them a little bit boost in that factor, but it doesn't lock them to being a primary playmaker, secondary sharpshooter, a primary playmaker, secondary slasher, a primary shot creator, secondary defender. You can essentially just tell me that, hey, you choose these 2 builds, these are gonna create your starting attributes, but they don't cap your attributes. Now, how do we go to advance that from there? So as you progress throughout your story, or as you progress through playing games, the more you do at a certain point, the more experience points you'll earn toward unlocking a particular cap. So if I start off with playmaking primary and shot creating secondary, then that means that I'll get a good boost to my ball handling and passing ability to start, and a good boost to my shot off the dribble from 3 and inside my mid-range shot to start. But it doesn't choose which badges I start with. It doesn't choose the badges I can get. And we'll get to the badges in just a second. Well, let's talk about the point system. So if you're playing your My Career games and you're scoring from mid-range, the more you score from mid-range, the more XP you'll get towards your mid-range cap. So if every ability can possibly have a cap of 25, and you got 20 total abilities so that's layups and dunks, mid-range shooting, 3-point shooting, passing, all of these stats. Now, if I do a lot of mid-range shooting and I unlock all of my caps for mid-range shooter all the way to 25, and I unlock all the caps for passing all the way to 25, and I unlock all my caps for layups and dunks all the way to 25. Essentially, based on what you do, you can unlock the caps all the way up to a certain level. Now, if you have a total of 20 different stats that you can unlock caps for, the first 5 that you unlock all 25 caps for, once you've unlocked those 25 caps for those first 5 stats, the rest of the stats will then go down to the next 5. You can get a maximum of 20 20. So now if my next 5 can get to 20, once I unlock the caps to get my next 5 to 20, then the remaining 15 would go down to, let's say, 17, 16. And then once I do the next 5 or the next 6 or 7, to 16 or 15, then the remaining caps will go down to, let's say, 13, 14. So by doing that, you can choose based on the way you play. Sorry about that. Based on the way you play, you can choose which caps will go to what levels based on your play style. Now, last year in 2K18, they told us that the ability caps were unlocked based on what you excelled at more. And we really didn't see that too much. Like, it felt random, it looked random, and to this day I think we all still believe that it is random. But if they go with that system that they said was in play, and they made it so that way you can unlock whatever caps you want based on the way you play, the people who want to be playmaking sharpshooters will be playmaking sharpshooters. The people who want to be the jack of all trades can kind of sort of be the jack of all trades. So if you want to be a guy who can splash from 3 but lock a person down, be that 3 and D kind of guy, then you can. And I know some people will say, well, that's just going to create a whole bunch of cheesy archetypes, but what it will do is that each player can then form their play style based on where they plan on playing the most at. So if I plan on spending a lot of time playing in the park, then I can look at the builds that I'm seeing come out of the park. I can see the shooters and say, okay, well, I kind of want to make sure my defense is up there. And then you also got those who they want to be shooters, but they also don't want to be penalized for having no defense whatsoever, like as if they're not there. So you got a system that will balance itself out. Now let's go on to the badges, because how are the badges going to unlock? Well, you remember back in 2K17 and 17, you unlock the badges just by participating in the games and doing certain things to unlock the badges. And then you had your primary badges that could go all the way up to Hall of Fame, for real. You get them all, you can buy them up to gold, and then you can unlock the Hall of Fame by doing what it took times 4. So let's say that for badges, you got, now I think it's like 55, 60 badges in 2K, but let's say you can only unlock 30 badges in total. All right, so if you can only unlock 30 badges in total, you get to choose which badges that you unlock based on where you play. So if you want to unlock the Rim Protector badge, then you need to be out there getting blocks. If you want to unlock the let's see, what's that, the post fade ace badge, then you need to be scoring that with that post fade. All right, so you got all these different badges. The posterizer badge, you need to be getting contact dunks. The way you get contact dunks is by boosting up your slashing ability to be able to unlock those contact dunks, to then be able to get those contact dunks, or to be able to just get posterizer badge unlocked. So by doing that, now I know that was a little confusing, but I think you all got my gist of what I was saying with that. By doing that, you allow players to create more dynamic archetypes. You allow players to create one player that they really just want to play 2K with, whether they're playing Park, Pro-Am, or my career. You can create these more one-of-a-kind players. You know, Russell Westbrook has been the only person tagged with that in NBA 2K, and it's funny that they never went with that moniker and allowed players to create the one-of-a-kind player. You know, I believe that we'll get that when they put Russell Westbrook on the cover of NBA 2K. You know, we get him on the cover, then we're gonna have that one-of-a-kind player that we can create. But I think that that's the best way to create the archetype system moving forward, because this creating an archetype system in that manner, first of all, yeah, you're gonna have your 80% of the community learn how to unlock these badges, and you're gonna have those who say, okay, well, this combination is the best build, but the analytics that are there will also showcase that these builds are dominant in this position, in this situation. So imagine if you got a point guard who can lock down, but he can also splash, and his 3-point shooting isn't taking a back seat because his defense is primary. So now I'm not saying that the first 5 stats that you get to 25 should be the moniker, but that's just the number system that I'm using right now, as if you have only 25 stats that can be upgraded, and then you got to see how to balance it out. So maybe let's not say 5 out of 25 can go to 25 all the way. Let's say instead 4 can go to 25. So now you gotta be careful and considerate of what you want to be your standout stats. And that's gonna make some people upset because they're gonna say, I didn't want to build it like that. I didn't want to build that way. Well, you shouldn't have played that way. I truly believe that with a dynamic archetype system in play, you will have more creative builds. You will have more of a creative flow to the game. And then what that does is for 2K, the league itself will then have more dynamic style archetypes, because I think the one thing that people would love to see more in the NBA 2K league is people playing with the archetypes that they created, the archetypes that got them to the combine, not just the archetypes that these teams want to see. You know, I believe that we can create a better scheme, a better system for players to create more, be more creative, give the players more flow, more juice to kind of just go with. So, you know, I'm hoping that you all kind of understood and followed everything that I was saying just now. This is only the first step to a better 2K product. I really truly think that they did a really fantastic job with the product with all of its flaws. But there's another video I'm gonna drop talking about how we can get past the other problems. But right now, the first step is, to me, the archetype system. It's not the first step. The first step is gameplay and mechanics. But to me, one of the first things that should be looked at in my career experience, because I won't say the majority of the community, but there's a lot of their biggest focus is the my career experience and the park and pro-am, that if you focus on these points in this aspect, I truly think that you can have a better product. You're gonna always have complaints, you're gonna always have problems, but I truly stand by that this could make 2K better every year, better than ever. Now, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on those post notifications, because I got more videos like this coming straight out. So, this your boy JuKING the Boss. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Peace.